Welcome everyone to our 360 interview today. I am so excited that you are all joining us here today to meet with Ted Leithart. I personally have got to know Ted over the last few years, and that was the reason why I wanted to bring him to 360. He is truly a marketing genius. Besides the fact that I enjoy his sense of humor. From time to time, he lets that come in. But before we get started, just so I can get all the information to you exactly who Ted is, I'm just going to read this a second. Ted Leithart owned or ran businesses, get this guys, beginning at the age of 12. It's so interesting. Before the age of 16, he had 4 profitable businesses. At age 16, he started buying and selling automobiles on an interstate basis. And I tell you, most of our conversations today still are around cars and his repairing, even as he just shared with me today. He definitely has a love for cars. While studying mechanical engineering at the Ohio State University, he began to market automobiles and automobile parts immediately. He met a marketing expert who had experienced a similar transition in his life and was mentored by this guru for a period of 2 years. Afterwards, Ted began to develop marketing systems for friends, employees, and clients. Now, this is huge, guys. This culminated in $44 million in new stream of revenue with over 6,000% ROI for global 50 corporations. Somewhere in this journey, Ted realized that he could have a greater effect on the world by helping others market themselves rather than he himself marketing only himself. Today, Ted Leithart and the Leithart Group, LLC, work with small and medium businesses which desire to leverage the business they have built to experience exponential growth in income and profits. And as you read somewhere, he has done this for a lot of businesses since 1994. What I like personally about Ted himself, besides his expertise, because I call him most often, he is a marketing king. Ted runs his business based on faith, hope, and love. When working with clients, wrenching on a car, or helping one of his sons with a research paper, Mr. Leithart always portrays those values throughout. It's not just from a personal sense, and I've seen it firsthand from his business point of view. He possesses an MBA from Xavier Institution. He's an author of a book, How to Outmaneuver, Outsmart, Outwit Your Competition within 60 seconds and 80 referral systems to bring into cash now. So it is my great pleasure and honor to have Ted Leithart here on our show today. Ted, would you like to come on and say hi?
Well, thank you. Thank you for the introduction.
Good
morning.
Oh, absolutely. One of the first things, and I'm going to just dive right in there, and I'm just mindful of everybody's time. I was mesmerized by your tagline in your business. So I think that's a great starting point. And if I get this correctly, if not, you can definitely jump in. When your business absolutely, positively needs more cash flow virtually overnight, what does that mean? That's your tagline, right?
So it's my tagline. It's pretty much the only thing that's on my business card anymore. The reason for that is a number of consults I've done recently and in the past, but most recently when I started a few consults, that I was finding money within people could implement into their business within days. good example of that is his name is Chip. I've known him for 6 or 7 years. Sold his old business and it was not doing very well. Sit down with him for a couple of hours and consult with him. Business was doing about $1,000 per month. Over the course of 2 hours and learning about his that he has in the past, the different types of jobs he's had in the past, business relationships, type of either physical inventory or anything else. Basically, over those 2 hours, I put together that after he puts all the pieces together of that strategy and implements it, a $12,000 a year business, $2,000 a year business within one evening. The whole thing is based upon a story about Baron Baruch, a Wall Street baron, very much like Warren Buffett or you hear. And somebody approached him and asked him to loan them $100,000. Baron said, "I'll do something better than that." One side of the stock exchange to the other, and walk from where we ended up back to our starting point, walk with my arm in arm. And I don't really care what our conversation is about, but we'll just do that. Endorsement of that will get you tremendously more than the $100,000 that you're seeking. And he did. A lot of people came up to him afterwards and said, "What were you?" And he went and told people about the project he was working on, that he was looking for investors in the project. People just out of the implied endorsement, not even asking investing. People said, "Well, I want to get in endorsement."
Can I just stop you right there? Because you just said something so huge, Ted. And I know that you help businesses uncover exactly what you're saying here, but for the sake of our audience and our guests here, implied relationships. You know, the connections that people build with each other, they have no idea how valuable they truly are and how they could use those relationships to further along their business. And I think that's exactly what you were speaking about. Is that right?
Oh, I was listening to Tony Robbins this past week and is actually re-listening to it this morning. Said 72% of in a marketing pitch, 72% of things people read, what people see on television or hear on the radio, people have gotten that cynical or they've gotten that bombarded with everything that they don't believe what they're hearing messages. So how do you get through to that? And 68% of people at the same time, 68% of people in and believe what a friend tells them. Clarity of how I put together marketing is that you can leverage. You can do that as a business, you can do that as an employee, you can do that as an entrepreneur, a person inside somebody else's business. Additional revenue streams within. Go ahead.
So could you give us an example of how a relationship within someone's business, as you said, an entrepreneur?
Would you ask the question again? I didn't quite get the whole thing.
Okay, because I also hear a feedback.
Okay.
Could you give us an example when you spoke about an entrepreneur, having somebody inside the company that you can build an additional revenue stream with.
I've done this a number of times myself. So, but an entrepreneur is a person to the company and say, if I can provide you another source of revenue, if I can provide you, if I can provide you a way to improve the amount of inventory you have to carry, and I can do that out my regular job, keep my regular job going at the same quality or higher than I'm currently doing, for me to allow me to do that.
Okay.
So it's iteration of the old employee suggesting box, and how do you go about this? That's actually what ended up being that $44 million in revenue. You use that exact same approach and approach my employer, said, if I can to put it together, and leveraged the relationship company. I didn't even have to go outside the company, just different divisions. It was a $44 million revenue starting out. They could have been much longer and much continued. Input. Put was PDFs to let her know about services that they offered. Other ways that entrepreneurs can work would be if selling a product or service and a complement or a ancillary product that goes right with it. A good example is if I sold, but I popped into my head, if I sold typewriters. I didn't do typewriter repair. I didn't sell typewriter ribbons. Sell material services where people didn't have time to type it themselves. I didn't sell paper, correction paper. Didn't sell how to type courses. Additional activity the typewriter sales company could easily enter into, employee, add that to as revenue streams to the business. Let me point out something. When I do that, I'm into, I don't know how many I named, let's say 8, into all these different, that I now have a school that I have to manage. I have I have to manage a set of mechanics that are schooled in typewriters and keep them up to date. Keep your focus on which is selling typewriters, and you build joint ventures or strategic alliances, their core competencies. And you get a commission for recommending based upon the addition that flows to the business. If it's a company's paying a 10% commission to their salesperson, why wouldn't they pay me 10% commission to bring in customers that they haven't been able to get otherwise? If a business is paying $100 that's how much it costs them in advertising to get one customer that in the door. Would they pay me $1,000 if I can bring in a customer to their door? Match them up very much in that at the same time. Example of that is I have a hearing aids. Well, what's hearing aids? Well, those tend to be older adults, so they're probably using glasses as well. Mm-hmm. Going to fitness years, senior communities, market in those type of ways, directly to a advertising agency or a marketing platform where what I would call it is a cold call. Phone, it doesn't necessarily I'm picking up the phone, but I'm picking up the phone, I'm popping into your television or your radio, and that 1% of the people respond to cold call. That's about right, isn't that, Celia? 1 to 2%.
Mm-hmm.
And if at the same time of introduce you to this, and this is the reasons why I like this hearing aid company over the others, endorsement, implied endorsements and out endorsements give 10, 15, 30% returns on investment.
Okay.
So you want to go someplace?
That's exactly what we're talking about with the other gentleman. He gave an implied endorsement that was worth so much more than any marketing. He just walked around, and I'm envisioning he just had his hand around him and walked up and down the market, and people automatically thought they were connected, and based on the fact that they were connected, they were willing to do business with them.
So first you have to have a market dominating position.
Mm-hmm.
A blue ocean versus a red ocean. If you read the book from a few years ago, a red ocean is competition. All the sharks are surrounding and going after the same bait, and there's a lot of red ocean as a result. I have a blue ocean. The blue ocean is there's only one shark, or you only fish in that area of the sea. You don't have any frenzy of people fighting for the same list of customers, the same customer base. So how do I position myself to have a blue ocean? Upon the quality I provide, be based upon my price and that. And the reason I say, especially if it's the lowest price, margins to the point at some point, whether it's a year or 10 years or 20 years down the road, because your margins are so low due to trying on price. But I could do it on quality, I could do it on price, I can do it on the level of service I have, it could be on how long of warranty I have versus the standard, different things like that. Then conveying that in a way meaningful in terms of difference. I have great, okay, and people, but if I don't explain what that great warranty is as endless or not with anybody, and warranty, because we do that all the time. I say my quality is better, or my service is better, better employees, better, but I don't define the thing that my employees go through in order to level. You need a niche based upon that unique selling proposition. And by niching, you can do a lot of different things. People say, well, I'm just a, well, there's different forms of daycare. There's daycares that cater to people that don't have much money. There's daycares that cater to people with a lot of money. Daycares that say, I want to help people, have somebody like me helping them out. I don't have anybody to take care of them during the day while mom's at work. Daycares where the daycare is focused on making sure the kid's reading at a level before they ever enter kindergarten. You have nurturing, you have creative, you have, so all those are, you can niche yourself rather than just saying, I'm a daycare.
Right. That would make all the difference in the world in the marketing, be that they're being very specific in the type of daycare that they're doing.
Yes, yes, very much so.
Okay.
Why I say when you positively add more cash flow virtually overnight. Myself, in terms of, if you have time, maybe this isn't the best way to phrase it, but if you have time to waste on marketing and find out what works and what doesn't. Mm-hmm. People to help you. If you need money, really, no, I mean, and people say, well, why wouldn't I do that? I would question that too, but that's up to you.
Right.
The ad agency, we have to do this massive ad campaign, and we have to be for the next 2 weeks in order to get your sports medication out, your sports analgesic out. To do it, but that's awfully expensive.
Right.
And the time to do that, they'll do it that way. I'm looking for people that
we don't have. Oh, sorry.
I didn't hear what you were saying.
I said, unfortunately or fortunately, you don't have that kind of time to let, or the resources. And why would we want to go through that whole channel when we can have somebody who's an expert and come in and actually do an analysis and really get down to the core of exactly helping you brand and market and get out there and get your message across in a very laser focused, succinct way. But before we go on even more than that, I know you and I have spoken, and I just want to bring in this other point because I am watching the time. A lot of people struggle to bring in new customers into their database, into their company. And I think this is probably one of the most hardest, difficult challenges, and why a lot of entrepreneurs just quit at that point, because they can't generate enough of their new clients to come in. And so through your expertise, is there one or two tips that you can bring in and help everyone listening address that issue?
Well, it goes back to the partnerships again. Have personal relationships with people. You have professional relationships with people. If you're in networking groups, after where you have people that very good referral sources to you, with a lot of networking groups, is that you are not incentivizing people well enough for referrals. By incentive, I mean, hey, Celia, you send me customers when they need marketing help, and I'll send people to you when they want sales training.
Okay.
That would be a incentive as to why Celia would send people to me, Celia, over and above the friendship. Yes, people know, like, and trust, but the bottom line is that if I look at and I say, okay, customer is worth, I'm going to pull numbers out of my hat.
Okay.
Customer is worth $500 to me over their customer life. And because I'm a consultant, I have a 50% net profit. The customer that comes in is worth $250 in profit to me. If I am spending $20 or $30 to get people into my business regular marketing, why would I not pay Celia the same amount? Or it's worth $250 over the life of a customer. I can look at it as terms of, okay, the customer stays with me for a year. What would I have to invest today interest to get $250 returned? And it'll come up around $230, $240. I could invest. You could say, Celia, everybody you send me that becomes a customer, I'll give you that day in order to get the $250 back over the course of the year. Do I want to do that forever? Because I'm But the key to that, what I said is that I'm regularly now spending $20 and I'm not getting people there. Celia has customers that could use, because she's going through she's talking to people about their sales and their sales strategies and their scripts, but in terms of how to put this together in terms of strategy to get them to where you can use these scripts, different lead generation tools, very good partnership. But if I ramped up and gave Celia that for every person that came in and did that for 2 months, can you imagine the number of people that Celia would send me? Mm-hmm. I would be breaking even. Have a heck of an incentive to be sending people to me. And you can do it's based upon the lifetime value of the customer, on what you can afford to give away, and most people have, here's what I'm spending on my marketing, and here's what I could spend in order to break even. Together, short term, in order to get a flood of new customers and then drop it back down.
That sounds amazing. Thank you, Ted, I am overwhelmed with the amount of information and great value that you just brought to each one of our listeners today. It is always a pleasure having these conversations and breaking new revelations. So with that being said, Ted, I'd like to give you, before we go off, because it's almost at the top of the hour, but I'd love for you to give everybody your website. Again, you can tell everybody the book, or where they can go to purchase your book, and any information that you'd like to leave our audience with today.
Sure. My last name is Leithart. It's Leit as in Tom, Hart as in Tom. First name is Ted. My website is leithart.com. A couple things that I offer there. One is a 45-minute business where it is at no charge. 45 minutes of going through several strategies with your business, at least $10,000 in additional revenue with your business. You can immediately start collecting in cash flow in your business right now, this month. I am coming out also with another book. I just got a heads up earlier today from I'm proofreading it for my review and acceptance. So that book should be up shortly, but I need to get it on. That should be over the next few weeks. The tentative title to that book is pretty much what we went over today. The fastest way to supercharge your business without working your butt off is the name of the book. So those are a couple things that people can make use of.
Thank you so much. And what we're going to do is take that information and put it on our Facebook page also. So if anybody, whether you're listening to this live or the recording, it'll also be up on the Facebook page. And I also wanted to thank Ted for that very generous offer for that 45-minute consult, which is gold, guys. It's absolutely gold. And I really hope you take Ted up on his generous offer.
Thanks so much.
So thank you again, Ted, and thank you, everybody, for coming here, 360, for another wonderful interview, and I look forward to talking to you again soon. Thanks, guys. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ted. Bye.